Project 1 presentation on China, completed by Tyler Brough, Chelsea Koranteng, Nathan Herron, and Alexis Hale.
There are significant differences between the Hofstede dimensions of China and the United States. China has a score of 20 under individualism, while the United States has a score of 91. China has a collectivist culture. The interests of the group take precedence over self-interests. Focusing on work groups and teams is very effective and results with company commitment and loyalty. China has a very pragmatic culture, and they generally do not carry absolute truths, but believe that truth depends on context, situations, and time. They are adaptable and can change easily to improve results. New ways of improvement, explained with the reasoning and potential results of changes, are generally accepted, especially if the changes show potential improvement in savings, investments, thrift, and modernization.
When dealing with the Chinese, it is important to remember that they view negotiating as an opportunity to build a relationship. However, this desire to build a relationship is often rather communicated as a way for the Chinese to draw out the negotiation. It has been said that to some the process is long, difficult, and often ends in the favor of the Chinese because of this. For example, as part of drawing out negotiations, the Chinese will raise several illogical concerns or have a series of unreasonable demands which they know will not be able to be met. This gives them the reputation of not taking the other party's concern, or best interest for that matter, into consideration. Another technique that they use is setting an artificial deadline to pressure the other party to come to a decision more quickly than they normally would have. And though the other party will not lose, they will not get as much as the Chinese will because of this. Finally, as a means of leverage, the Chinese will deal with more than one competitor at a time, so that if they are not in favor of what is being offered to them, they will threaten to go elsewhere to get what they want.
China is ruled by many different parties, but the Communist Party has a strong membership with over 73 million, making it the largest political party in the world. The Communist Party regulates many aspects of Chinese life, such as what is taught in school, what citizens do for a living, and what they can watch on TV. The National People's Congress was created in 1982, which is China's parliament. The lawmaking process is complicated. The National People's Congress creates the laws for human rights and taxes, while state council and local governments are able to create laws as well. Even if the law passes, it's not always put into place by the president. However, there have been much improvement in the legal environment due to several reforms over the years. The legal process is still slow, but the reforms have helped China become more open to businesses and have made it easier for people to start and run business in China.
With an overall score of 52.5 and a national ranking of 137 out of 178 countries, China is considered to be a mostly unfree nation, a significant difference from the United States world rank of 12. The current Communist Party upholds strict control of religion, assembly, and speech throughout the country, which continues to have a significant impact on the nation's low freedom ranking. In the United States, business freedom is 89.2, whereas in China it's 49.7, which makes doing business in China very different than in the United States. Freedom from corruption is also a noteworthy issue in China, which will most likely disturb any individual trying to do business there. It would be advised that if you're planning on doing business in China, that you know your ethical code and set boundaries for the type of actions you will take to work around corruption, if necessary. Also, all land is state owned in China, so complications could arise of trying to obtain land to build a structure for the business. Trade in China is strong and thriving. Upon entering the World Trade Organization in late 2001, China started to reduce its barriers of trade in 2002, which allowed more countries to sell their goods to them. They reduced their tariff rates on many products, decreased the number of goods subject to import quotas, and expanded the number of products they could import. While they have changed some of the rules and laws for importing goods, there are still some major barriers when trading in China. China still refuses to give trading rights to certain industries, such as the petroleum and sugar industries. They also do not allow the importation of many copyrighted materials, such as books, movies, music, newspapers, etc. Special incentives that are offered for foreign direct investment in China include tax exemptions, property assistance, training and labor market assistance, and exemptions from regulations. There are many restrictions placed on the foreign direct investment in China that would be considered in many nations to be anti competitive. For example, restrictions on territory in which a product can be marketed, restrictions on the scope of products that can be produced, and restrictions on the prices that can be charged.
These 5-year graphs show important data about China's economic conditions. The first two graphs show China's steady growth of GNI per capita, as well as the growth rate of GDP, which has been relatively consistent, showing that the economy of China continues to be growing. The next graph shows the interest rate being pretty level, being fixed at 6% for the past 5 years. Having a consistent lending rate is beneficial, allowing potential customers to anticipate interest expenses and what to expect in the future. This last graph shows the unemployment rate of China over the past 5 years. The unemployment rate of China is relatively low, about half of the rate that's in the United States. This shows that the Chinese economy is able to provide jobs for much of the labor force.
China has a semi-fixed policy with its exchange rates. The central bank sets a fixed rate, which allows the currency to fluctuate slightly around that rate and adjust from time to time. This chart shows that $1 equals 6.1022 Chinese yuan, or that 1 Chinese yuan equals 16 US cents. Over the last 8 years, the Chinese currency has had gradual incremental appreciation. It has been sliding over the last year though and has many investors rattled. Intervention by China's central bank is the reason, analysts say, for the decline. They are intentionally sliding the value to punish spectators and speculators and prevent huge capital flows from entering the country. China is a part of a regional agreement called the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Its effects include accelerating economic growth, social progress, socio-cultural evolution, protection of regional peace and stability, and finally opportunities for these member countries to regulate differences peacefully. China is also a part of several different agreements which fall under bilateral free trade agreements. As you can see, China has agreements with these countries at the bottom of your screen to help lower tariffs or even completely eliminate.
China suffers extreme pollution problems throughout the country, and indoor and outdoor air pollution is one of the leading causes of death and disease in China. It has affected the economy through decreased tourism, grounded flights, closed traffic, and sick employees. So air purifiers are in high demand but short supply, which results in unaffordable prices and stores that are constantly out of stock. Air purifiers are estimated to reach a market of $22 billion by 2018 as the Chinese people are desperate for clean air. There are companies that are working to fulfill this need, but the market is so underserved that there's still lots of room for growth. And there's a distinct gap between the cheap, ineffective purifiers and the high-end, expensive purifiers that not many can afford. This gap can be addressed by providing an economical product that is affordable by most consumers, and with the affordable price, it can be distributed widely throughout China, as Chinese businesses will be more willing to purchase the product without fear of them being too expensive. And there are some concerns when purchasing air purifiers in China, since there are no consistent standards for air purifiers, which means no guarantees for how safe or effective they are. Emphasizing the use of a HEPA filter will promote trust, as it is very effective in removing particles and pollution, and a pre-filter is also desirable to catch larger particles, which extends the life of the HEPA filter. And another favorable quality of air purifiers is to be made in the United States, as China views this as an indication of high-quality products.
Our second idea is an athletic apparel and shoes product line. We feel that this would be successful and satisfy a great market in China. Popular American sports such as football and basketball are growing internationally. China embraces these professional athletes through these professional leagues such as the NBA and NFL. Our idea is to create an athletic apparel line where these recognized professional athletes sponsor our products in an effort to increase awareness and drive sales. Our apparel line would fill the unmet need through affordability, quality, comfort, and style that suits diverse athletic occasions. Potential cultural issues that will be faced when marketing these products would be found in the professional market of China. Being aware of the trends and lifestyles of the individuals we are marketing to will be instrumental.
Similar to the increased economic growth that China has experienced over the last decade, interest in outbound travel has increased as well. In fact, in 2013, 98.19 million Chinese traveled abroad. The steadily developing economy, a growing demand in tourism, appreciation of the Chinese currency, welcoming visa policies of foreign countries and regions, and the increased numbers of international flights all contribute to the growing number of outbound tourists. These factors helped us to determine that establishing an outbound travel agency in China that allows for individuals to create custom vacation packages at a rate better than they could get online or through another travel agency would prove successful. Since most travel agencies in China focus on inbound travel, and the ones that do offer outbound travel focus on selling packages in other Asian countries as a desired destination, establishing a travel agency that focuses on travel destinations in the United States, South America, and Europe would be a refreshing change, something we believe that citizens desiring to travel abroad would capitalize on. The biggest struggle that we would face in promoting this business would certainly be through marketing. Though we would need to be aware of other foreign direct investment regulations, implementing a solid base of customer awareness would likely be most difficult.